Converting decimals to percents. To convert a decimal to a percent, what we'll first do is convert the decimal into a fraction with a denominator of 1. So that just means that we take our decimal and put it over 1. Then you want to find the equivalent fraction with a denominator of 100. So that means we'll be finding a multiple. That means that we now have a number per 100. It'll be over 100. So the percent is whatever the numerator is with a percentage sign. And there is a shortcut for this. You'll find that this process is equivalent to moving the decimal 2 places to the right, and then adding our percent symbol. Let's start by converting 35 hundredths to a percent. So what we'll first do is take our number and put it over 1, and then we want to find an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 100. So to get 1 to be 100, we need to multiply by 100, and if we multiply the denominator by 100, we need to multiply the numerator by 100. 0.35 times 100 will give us 35. 1 times 100 gives us 100. So we have 35 over 100. So we need to take our number, 35, and then instead of having this over 100, we'll write our percent sign. So 35 hundredths is equal to 35%. Now to convert 7 tenths to a percent. First we'll rewrite this as a fraction with a denominator of 1, so that's just taking our decimal and putting it over 1. And then we want to find an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 100. So we'll multiply the denominator and the numerator by 100. 7 tenths times 100 gives us 70. And 1 times 100 is 100. Now we'll finish converting this into a percent. So we take our numerator, 70, and then instead of writing this over 100, we'll write our percent sign. So 7 tenths is equivalent to 70%. Next up, we want to convert 1 and 423 thousandths, or 1.423, to a percent. So we're going to take our number and put it over 1. And then we want to find an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 100. So we'll multiply our numerator and denominator by 100. 1 and 423 thousandths times 100 is equal to 142 and 3 tenths, just moving that decimal point to the right, because multiplying by 100 will make it a larger number. And then 1 times 100 is equal to 100. Now we take our numerator, 142 and 3 tenths, and instead of writing this division by 100, this over 100, we'll write percent. So 1 and 423 thousandths, or 1.423, is equivalent to 142 and 3 tenths percent. Lastly, let's convert 73 and 8 tenths to a percent. First, we'll write this as a fraction with a denominator of 1, and then we want to find an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 100. So we'll multiply the numerator by 100 and the denominator by 100. 73 and 8 tenths times 100 is equal to 7380, so 7,380. And 1 times 100 is equal to 100. Now we'll rewrite this as a percent. So we'll take our numerator, the 7,380, and instead of writing this over 100, we'll write our percent. So 73 and 8 tenths is equivalent to 7,380%.